coming to you live today. So today I want to talk about the 5 different skill sets that are really required to create limitless wealth. So when I'm talking about limitless wealth, I'm talking about more than just money. I'm talking about building a life of like full prosperity, happiness, like, having the time and space to enjoy your life, have good relationships, take care of your health, things like that. So there's actually 5 things that are really, really required. Now, most of us just focus on one of these things, which is actually the last one that we're going to talk about, and it's clear money channels. So the first thing that you need to create this full life, limitless wealth, like prosperity, for a lifetime, is a wealth identity. Now, a wealth identity is different than money mindset because it is about your full relationship to your life in general. So basically what you want to have to create this wealth identity is you want to have a pretty clear picture of the life that you want to create. And the identity itself is who you want to be inside of that life. Like how you want to feel, how you want to behave, the kinds of things you want to do or don't do, the ways that you want to work or not work, just like all of these things in relationship to that really good, juicy life. Now, there's a pretty common goal setting method called the be, do, have model. And so this kind of model gets us thinking in that way. And this is in contrast to some more of the other common, like a SMART goals, like the common goal setting. And those common goal settings a lot of times don't have any aspect of identity, right? Like a SMART goal is specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time constrained. And so none of that has to do with who you are. So the reason that I'm bringing that up and why this matters is because when we know who we want to be in our lives, we know what this lifestyle that we want to create and who we want to be inside of that lifestyle, that gives us a very clear North Star to gauge our decisions on. And as you're growing in your wealth and as you're growing in your career or your business, this becomes increasingly important because especially as you start to get higher and higher levels of success, the ability for you to have coaching or work on your mindset or work on these other things becomes available to you, more so than just like reading books. And this matters because it gets really easy to go off the rails a little bit and to start creating a life that you don't necessarily love when you lose that North Star. It's easy to chase money. It's easy to chase success or promotions or, scaling or the next big thing in your business. But if we don't gauge that up against the lifestyle that we want to create and who we want to be in the lifestyle, it really, really gets easy to go off the rails and to start building things that are out of alignment with the truth of why we're doing this, what we really want. So that's the first thing that you need to really build wealth over a lifetime. I will also mention that this is going to shift, it's going to change, it's going to grow. And the more that you move up and the more that you achieve, things will fall away and new things will come on into that identity. And that's normal and that's perfectly great. So the next thing that you need is a skill. So the next 4 things that you need are skill sets. Right? So we need a mental reprogramming skill set. Now this goes beyond just mindset work. We need the ability to reprogram our mind at our own will. We need this ability to play with our mind and understand this to be able to have constant growth, constant evolution. And what I'm talking about here is, so once we have our wealth identity, then we can start to see, well, what kinds of mindsets do I need that would support that identity, that lifestyle that I'm creating? And so with money mindset, most of us just got started, I took a zillion courses on money mindset, but what that gives me is the mindset of someone else. And they don't necessarily have the same wealth identity that I have. And I'm going to just give you an example. So let's just say you were going to look at Grant Cardone's money mindset. Now, Grant Cardone is an empire builder. He's a super masculine man and he's got a real estate empire versus the money mindset of Denise Duffield Thomas. And I don't know I hope you're familiar with these people, but Denise Duffield Thomas wrote books like Chillpreneur and Get Rich Lucky Bitch. And she has a lifestyle brand where she talks about working a few hours a day and being able to make maybe $1 million a year. I don't know how much she makes, but it's different. It's different. The the mindset that Grant Cardone would have would be different than the mindset that Denise Duffield Thomas would have. And that's wonderful because they're both creating different lifestyles. So we have to just take money mindset work with a little grain of salt. This is why wealth identity is so important, because once we know who we want to, the life that we want to have and who we want to be inside of that life, then we start to add in the mental structures that are going to help us get there. And those mental structures are specific. And so if you were to apply, like, let's just say, for example, you were to apply Denise Duffield Thomas's mindset to Grant Cardone's business, it's not going to work. It's not going to make sense. It's not going to work. And the same thing if you were to put vice versa, like it's the opposite, right? It's not they don't want the exact same things. And so we have to just be aware that our mindset is going to be best when it's in support of the things that we're trying to create. When our mind is the servant and we have belief structures that are in support of. And we have judgments that are in support of, when we're taking actions that are in support of, this way that we're looking at things. This is how we start to see success get really fast. And so when I'm talking about a mental skill set, I'm talking about the ability to break a belief. I'm talking about the ability to shift or move through a judgment. I'm looking at the ability to see, patterns, even though patterns play into like energetics a little bit more, but see our mental patterns, see the places where we're replaying old stories, see the places where our mind wants to recreate from the past instead of just create from the future. Now, the reason that you want this skill set is because for you to achieve like limitless wealth, like you're going to need to reprogram your mind more than once. It's not something that's just going to be like one and done. Like you might, the exact belief structures that you may affirm to yourself today, 2 years from now might just get too small. They might, the exact same structures that were once supportive can get too small in time. And so this is why we really want to understand how our mind works and have this ability to change our perception, to shift the way that we look at things and the way that we think about things as it's necessary. And so this is more important, like having a full mental skill set is more important than just having like a great money mindset, because a great money mindset only applies to the life that you're building. I hope you're with me. Okay. So the next thing that we need is an emotional skill set. Now, an emotional skill set really is important for a few reasons. First is a life of abundance requires you to be able to tolerate emotional range. So if you're willing, let's just say this is the spectrum of abundance. So let's just say you're currently willing to experience this much sensation in your body, and anything beyond that feels dangerous to you. And you're telling the universe, like, I want a life this big, but your emotional range is this big. It doesn't work. This is where people will have money blocks. So having a life of abundance requires big emotional range. Now, the next thing about this emotional skill set that I'm talking about is that we need to be able to process our feelings so that way we're not carrying emotional baggage into our current decision making. And so what this looks like, so let's just say, for example, this is my story. This is mine. So in 2021, I was running a ton of ads. I was spending probably $10,000 a month on ads. I had good, strong cash flow. The ads were working really well. Then at the end of 2021, I lost my Facebook ads account. Facebook was just like, you can't run ads anymore. And there was nothing I could do. There was nobody to talk to. There was no customer service. We tried for months to get the ads account back. And in doing that, I had to fire my marketing team. I had to let go of some of my staff. It was really devastating to my business. And I'm sharing this because for the longest time, I refused to run ads. I said, I'm not doing that again. I'm not going to run ads again. This is not for me. I'm not putting my business in such a place. Now, my emotions around this, I felt betrayed, which obviously Mark Zuckerberg doesn't know me and nobody at Facebook gives a shit. But I truly, oh, my eye is itchy, felt betrayed by this. I felt angry. I was super disappointed, let down, and there was a level of devastation that came to my business. So for a good few years, those feelings, those unprocessed emotions prevented me from being able to run ads. Now, for a while, my business did just fine because I had all of this momentum from previously running ads. But as time went on, my list, has been seeing my same offers for a really long time. My audience wasn't really growing. It was growing, but not super fast. And in time, I stopped being able to really make the kind of money that I like to make because there was no new traffic. And so what was really something that happened a while ago, and this old emotional baggage was playing into my level of current decision making. And so I see this happen with people as they scale their business or as they grow beyond things, where people are like, oh, this thing might hurt me. I'm not going to do it. And so that really prevents us from, being able to really get into the groove of limitless wealth. Limitless wealth requires us to have, relatively clear emotional states so that way we can be making decisions from the present for the future. If we're pulling in the past to our present decision makings, we're going to be recreating the past. But we've already had the past. That's not what we want. We want something new and exciting. So the ability to work with your emotions, this emotional skill set, helps you to not be carrying old emotions into the present. It helps you to process. And as you're able to do that, you end up with more and more emotional capacity. And that's the ability to be cool and present in your body without shutting down, without turning off. And this is really, like I said, this is what's required of abundance. Now, the last thing I'll mention about this emotional range, the skill set of, building emotional range, is that when we're going to do stuff bigger and better and more badass, we're putting emotions on the table. Like we have it's almost like if you were playing poker. Just imagine you're going to put the chips on the table. You hope you're going to win, but there's the possibility that, if you're going for a really big sales meeting, there's a possibility you're going to get the sale, but there's also a possibility you're going to eat a big old fat rejection sandwich. If you're really putting yourself out there, you're really showing up, you're really doing big things, there's a chance that it's going to go great. And there's also a chance that you're going to get some negative feedback, some criticism, some judgment's going to come back your way. And if you're not able to process those emotions when they come up, if you're not able to process and be with that sensation in your body, you're never going to have the guts to do what's required. And what this looks like in business, what this looks like in money is literal, walking in circles. It looks like procrastinating. It looks like getting too busy. It looks like starting projects but not finishing them. It looks like taking the action towards something but doing it so half-assed that you get no results. If you are not really willing to put the emotional chips on the table, you're not going to get the results. That's just how it goes. So this is why having that emotional skill set really, really helps with building limitless wealth. All right. The next kind of skill set that you need is really around wealth energetics. And it's really about vibe management. And it's really the ability to reflect on where is this coming from when you're taking your actions. I'm going to give you an example because the energetics is a little bit hard to understand because it's, mostly invisible. But let's just say, if you've ever been in a sales conversation with somebody who's selling to you and you know that they really care about you, you can tell that they really want to serve you, that they're here for you. And then you can contrast that to what it feels like to be sold to by somebody who just wants to make a commission. Even though they're going to talk to you about the same products in the same way, they might even use the exact same words. One of those energies cultivates a feeling of trust. It's going to bring the money in. And on the other side, when somebody has commission breath, it's repulsive, right? And you can see this in your own work. And so when you look at the energetics that are underneath wealth building, right? So am I coming from abundance or am I coming from scarcity? Am I coming from love or am I coming from fear? Am I coming from service or am I coming from get, right? the ability to read how you show up in a situation and the ability to read the energies in situations is something that it doesn't lie. It gives you such clear insight and the ability to move so much faster. And so this skill set is something that if really what it looks like is learning how to understand and read energy, and then learning how to act in accordance with what you're trying to achieve. And sometimes that even means shifting your energy. Like you may notice, oh, wow, I'm really showing up today in my grabby. What's that about? And kind of take your attention inside for a second. And you're like, oh, something needs my attention here. All right, how do I get back into service? And it prevents you from taking too many actions with the wrong energy kind of coloring it. So for example, if I was to be in a state of service and really take a lot of actions, that's going to draw money in. But if I'm in a state of getting and taking a lot of actions, that's going to push money away. And so if my goal is to serve people and also to make money, I'm going to want this quality of energy. If I keep showing up in my get energy, I'm going to be chasing. It's going to be so much more work, and it's going to be less attractive to my people. So this is why energetics really, really helps. It's not required. I'm sure there's people in the world who have a great life, but even then, I bet they speak in energy with just with no awareness around it, or with no energetic awareness around it, even though they're aware. I hope you're with me. You know what I mean. All right. So the last thing that you need is clear money channels and clear money management. And so this is the thing where most people are really focused when it comes to making money, because this makes the most sense. So clear money channels in business might be things like your plans, your actions, your strategies, your tactics, your literal customer journey, your sales pages, your buy buttons, your flow. Right? In the money management, it's going to be your bank accounts. It's going to be how you pay your bills. It's going to be the way that the money flows through your life. So having clear money channels and clear money management is absolutely necessary. So listen, those first 4 skills, the wealth identity, reprogramming your mind, up-leveling your emotions and your energetics, you can have all of that right and blocked money channels and it won't work. Clear money channels and clear money management is absolutely necessary. But I will also say that you can have clear money channels and have those other things not quite right, and then you'll see it in the income. You'll see it in the way the money flows. But sometimes people are doing so much work, in their mindset, or so much work on their energetics, but it's like, well, you literally don't have a buy button, or you literally don't have anything to sell, so I just want to really point out that the clear money channels, having an appropriate size money channel, having clear money channels, having clear money management, having money management that supports, back to our initial point, that lifestyle and who you want to be, that's really, really critical. All right. So when I'm working with clients, I'm really looking at their whole life situation, like what's going on, because the point of all of this isn't just to make more money, isn't just to get more money. It's to really create the life that is, to create the experiences, to create this tapestry of existence for yourself, and to be the person that you want to be there. And then everything else. And once you're in alignment, once your mind, your emotions, your heart, your energy, and your literal plan, once these things are all in a row, this is where people talk about creating ease and flow. This is the ease, this is the flow, because when everything's going in the same direction, shit moves fast and it gets easy. But when your mindset doesn't support your identity, or your emotions are causing a lot of conflict in your behaviors and in your actions, this is where we feel a lot of internal struggle. This is where when this stuff's not in a row, sometimes I'll see clients working so hard, even maybe possibly making more money, but it all goes away. They make no progress even though they're making money. A lot of times I'll see clients chasing strategy after plan, after budget, after marketing suggestion, after sales tactic, and none of it works. None of it's sticking. And it's really because they're trying to solve what is probably an energetics or an emotional or a mental skill set with a different clear channel. So anyways, so these are the five keys to limitless wealth. So I hope now that you know what they are, you can see how they are intertwined, how they all play together, and how when you have all five of these things in alignment, like you move super, super fast. So I would like to invite you to a call with me. If you want to talk to me about working together about your exact plan for your wealth identity and all of the pieces that will need to shift to get you into alignment, I'd love to talk to you about that. You can book a call. There's a link in the description, and we'll talk for maybe 15-20 minutes. And then if working together is appropriate, I'll tell you about how that goes from there. All right. I love you so much. Thank you for hanging out with me. I'll talk to you later. Bye.